What if the very way we all agree on reality is, well, broken? And what if the answer isn't to fight more, but to find a totally new way to connect? In this explainer, we're going to break down a pretty wild vision for an online network that's designed to do exactly that.
Okay, let's start with this quote from the project's creator, Dustin, because this one sentence is really the key to the whole thing. It's a huge claim, right? And it's the exact problem his entire vision is trying to solve.
So the whole thing begins with this pretty startling diagnosis. Our shared understanding of the world, our consensus reality, is cracking at the seams. And we're not just talking about politics here. The creator argues the problem goes way, way deeper.
So what even is consensus reality? Well, think of it like the invisible operating system that we're all running on. It helps us make sense of the world, but the source material here argues that this OS has been corrupted, that it's being manipulated, making it almost impossible to know what's real anymore.
And this is where it gets really serious. It's not just that we disagree on stuff. The argument is that the actual tools we use for thinking, our words, are being hijacked. I mean, if words don't mean the same thing to everybody, how can you ever have a real conversation?
And here's the real kicker. This isn't some accident. According to the source, this is a deliberate strategy. You've got all these powerful groups, corporate, government, you name it, all trying to control the story, sow confusion, and push their own agendas. If you've ever felt like you're being played online, this is what they're talking about. All right, so if our current reality is so busted, what do you do about it? Well, Dustin's answer is pretty radical. It's a whole new kind of network called the Thought Ripple Amplifier, and its goal is literally the opposite of every social network we use today.
See, this network isn't about trying to win arguments or convert people. It's about finding your tribe. The source calls them resonant nodes. Just think of them like tuning forks that are already vibrating on the same frequency. The whole idea is to just bring them together so they can make that sound louder.
So you gotta get this. The goal here is not to persuade anyone of anything. It's all about amplification. It's like a megaphone for all these quiet connections and points of unity that are already out there just waiting to be heard. And this slide, man, this just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you have the networks we all know. They're top-down, they're about control, they're about persuasion. And on the other, you have this new idea, a network that grows from the ground up, organically, based on real, genuine connection. It's a totally different way of thinking about what an online community can be.
Okay, so what does this thing actually look like in practice? Is it an app? A website? Well, not really. It's more like a living, breathing art project, where the process of creating is the actual performance.
And this is where it gets kind of wild. The whole creative process is completely out in the open. It starts with just a raw, unscripted chat with an AI. Then that conversation gets fed into another AI to see what happens, and the whole thing, the entire messy process, is streamed live for anyone to see. In a world of perfectly curated content, that is a radical act of transparency.
And this quote just nails it. We live in a world that is obsessed with the final, polished product. This project says, no, the journey is the interesting part. The art isn't the destination, it's the beautiful, unpredictable process of getting there. And that's a really powerful idea all by itself.
Now, to really wrap your head around the philosophy of this whole thing, you can't think of it like a machine. You have to think of it like a garden.
This quote right here gets to the absolute core of the metaphor. The people behind this don't see themselves as architects building some brand new world from scratch. No, they see themselves as gardeners, simply tending to the seeds of connection that they believe are already planted inside all of us.
See, this whole gardener idea, it's a direct answer to all that manipulation and control we were talking about at the beginning. Instead of forcing a rigid structure on people, the focus is just on creating a healthy environment where genuine connection can grow all on its own.
And for the creator, this isn't just some cool project he thought up. He describes the inspiration for it as a really deep, personal, spiritual calling, a clear mission that he felt he had to bring into the world.
All right, so how do you actually fuel a movement like this? Well, the project's approach to funding is just as unique as its whole philosophy of connection.
Now, they're super clear on this point. This isn't charity, it's not a personal handout for Dustin. Any money that comes in is seen as an investment in the vision. It's fuel for the engine, a way for other people to become part of building this thing.
And that's a really important point. The donations are just the spark plug.
The end goal is for this network to become its own self-sustaining ecosystem, like a perpetual motion machine of connection that doesn't need outside fuel anymore.
So in the end, we're left with this really powerful question, aren't we? What would actually happen if we stopped trying to persuade each other and just started trying to find ways to resonate with each other? This whole project is one big experiment to find out. And, the answer just might change everything about how we connect.